And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're talking about Tic Tac Boom! Alright, it comes in one of these boxes where you have to cut the deck in half and slide it. Publishers, please stop making these boxes. It's so annoying. I mean, do you dislike your customers that much? Does anyone like these boxes? I'm going to do a whole show about that one of these days. But anyway, Tic Tac Boom has translucent cards. You can see through them. Woo! You can see through me if I was doing a green screen right now, but I decided not to. But anyway, let's take a look at this game and see what it's like. Translucent cards always have me interested. Does that mean it's a good game? Basic game first. Here we have a sheet of paper called Kaboom in front of us. And at the very beginning of the game, you'll take a deck of cards, and even though they're translucent, you can't see through them. I must mention, though, that they're really, they slide easily. When you're shuffling, I can't tell you how many times, in the few short games we played, how many times people drop the cards, and you can see here they're trying to escape out of my hands. But the first thing we do is we take one and we place it on each of these. Kaboom. Now, you notice I put an O and an O, and another O. Lots of O's here. Here's an M. Here's an O. But since I placed this O on an O, it immediately moves up and locks into place. And here's an M. That's also the correct spot for the M, so that moves up and locks into place. Everyone's dealt a hand of cards. And you'll look at your cards. Ooh, I got this one, and you have different cards. And on your turn, you will play a card. Now, when you play a card, you can only play it onto an open one. These are locked, so you can't play it on those. So let's say, for example, I want to play a card on here. I can play a blue card, or I can play an O card. The same color, the same letter. If I play the letter that matches it, then I lock it into position. Whenever I cause something to lock in a position, this takes place, whatever the card says. So skip means that we skip around and I get to take another turn. Draw two, the next player draws two cards. Draw or discard, you can make someone else draw a card or discard a card. Reverse, make someone else go in reverse. And that continues on. If you run out of cards, then you will get points. And if you are the person who locks the last one into place, you will get points. And that's basically it. Whenever you lock them all into place, or if you run out of cards, or if you do both at the same time, which is the best way, you'll get a letter, and you're trying to spell out the word Tic Tac Boom. If you lock them into place and go out at the same time, which is difficult to do, but if you do it, you get 3 letters. First person to get Tic Tac Boom is the winner. All right, boring. Let's try the advanced gameplay. In the advanced gameplay, there's simply going to be one pile in the middle of the table. Has a lot more of a feeling of Uno. And players are playing cards, trying to get rid of them. And if you match the letter, you do the action on the card. And there are special cards that show you what they do, even though it also says it on the card. But you can also play power attacks. Like if you play KO of the same color, you can make someone else lose a turn, and it gives you 15 points. If you play Boom, everyone else can draw or discard. If you play Kaboom, everyone else is going to draw, everyone will draw 5 cards in the order you want, and you'll get 100 points. And then you're trying to go out. So this is kind of an advanced form of Uno, and this is kind of like a spread out version of Uno. But either way, the games are very similar in how you're playing same color, same letter on top of same letter, with special powers activating when the same letter matches. There's even this kind of, I guess I should show this here. If you notice, each of these cards has a bomb in one corner and a spot in the other. And when you put a letter on top of each other, the symbols that run around the outside, and it's hard to tell here, will match. You can see there that those match. They have stars around them. And so that shows that you can do the special ability. But really, I don't need those stars to show me that. I can just remember that when they're the same letter, I can do the special ability. So there you go. You can play to a certain amount of points in either game, or you decide. Well, in the first one, you're trying to get Tic Tac Boom. In the second one, you're trying to get a certain number of points, maybe 200. Tic Tac Boom is basically a variation on Uno. Seems like I'm saying that a lot these days about games, but I mean, I know Uno's a popular game, and I played it a ton when I was a kid, and I could see people wanting to play this. There's some problems with this, though, this version. One, the 3-color rule sounds interesting, but it makes it really too easy. People almost always have a match. It's not that difficult to not get a match. The translucent cards are a neat idea, but they don't matter to this game. So it's adding an extra cool factor for something that's not needed, and in doing so you have cards that when you put them down they're sliding out the other cards all over the table. So that's actually a negative feature of this game. The advanced game is not actually more advanced than the basic game, I guess, other than you're trying to play a group of cards to get points. But because getting those cards together is worth so many points, that getting those is the only point to playing the game, and players are just constantly trying to do that. Either way, it's a fun, silly little game to some degree, but wasn't fun enough for me. I have lots of other card games here, as you can see behind me, and this one doesn't measure up to the standards to keep on the shelf. It's a neat idea, but I think it could have been fleshed out a little bit better. It's fun to say Tic Tac Boom and Kaboom and Boom and KO and all that nonsense, but in the end, the game itself doesn't meet my expectations. It's simply too light without enough substance.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.